Hey, thanks for tuning in to That Husband Podcast with me, Black Newborn. And today's episode, we have the privilege of being joined by VTJ Masakona. And we speak about conflict overall, but then we zoom into his own relationship with his father. How has conflict resolution led them to where they are today? How has conflict resolution looked like in his own marriage? We speak about a time when him and his wife faced a couple of miscarriages and what they learned through that influenced how they resolve conflicts. Secondly, we speak about conflict resolution in sex. We speak about conflict resolution in the sense of men working on themselves first so that we can have peace in our own hearts, our own minds, that will spill out to those that we find ourselves in, particularly our wives in this case. All of this in today's episode. Hey, what's up? Welcome to That Husband Podcast with me, Black Newborn. Here we are husbands who aren't where we want to be, but certainly are not where we used to be. We are imperfect, always failing forward, trying to know better so that we can do better. Hey, what's up? Welcome to That Husband Podcast with me, Black Newborn. This is where husbands try to know better so that we can do better. The husband that's sitting across the table from me today is Mr. VTJ. What's up, brother?
What's up, bro?
You good?
You good? I'm all right. I'm
Good,
all right.
man.
So good to be here.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for pulling through, bro.
I think I qualify because I'm a husband. I just think so.
That's it, bro. I always say guys who sit on that chair, man, are not superheroes. They're just husbands.
Yeah, true.
Right?
True.
You're not
Very true.
superheroes. You probably haven't figured this thing out 10 years later.
Nope.
Yeah.
Nope. I think I'm still in elementary school.
Yeah.
Right
What am
now.
I doing here? No, bro. Thanks for pulling through, man.
Awesome. Awesome stuff.
This has been a long time coming for those who don't know.
Yes, it is.
And we'll definitely get into it, but not just before we started shooting.
Sure.
We're chatting about your dad.
Yeah.
In fact, the first time I met you, we were in a circle with a couple of other guys.
Yeah.
And the guy who was hosting us, Rory,
Yeah.
asked us what one word we think of when we think of our fathers.
Yeah.
I forgot what word you used, but out of how many of us were there?
I
Like,
know it was 8, 9.
yeah,
Yeah.
you stuck out, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, man, I need to get to hear that guy's story, right?
Sure.
Because a lot of us, it's just words like death, absence,
Yeah. Yeah.
just negative words.
Yeah.
And you had I forgot again the word, but I know there was
Yeah.
so much affection, there was so much
Yeah.
admiration, just honor, you know,
true.
and just how you spoke of your dad after that. I was just like, man, we just need to
True.
sit down with this dude, pick your brain. I'm very interested in stories like that and how
Sure.
fathers shape their sons,
Sure.
especially those who are husbands, you know.
Yeah.
But we'll get into it, man.
Hundreds.
We compiling this resource where we want to put husbands' names in,
Sure.
and we want to give it to young guys who are afraid of getting married, who don't believe in marriage anymore, or husbands who are walking alone, who don't have any brothers that encourage them. And so we want to put stories of husbands who are not heroes, who are failing forward,
Yeah.
you know, who are trying their
Yeah.
hardest. And then gives this as a free resource to try
Awesome.
and encourage those guys, right? So we ask our guests to give us 2 names of husbands who either inspired you to get married or who inspire you to stay married now, and why.
Sure.
Yeah.
I'll give you 2 names.
Yeah.
First and foremost, my dad.
Yeah.
His name is Maxwell VTJ Masakona.
Yeah.
And I've seen him love his wife for 42 years now.
Sure.
In a very interesting and a very passionate or rather committed way.
Yeah.
You know, and when I look at it, I'm just like, you know what, I want to walk that journey
Sure.
where there's nothing but just building forward.
Mm.
You know, were there failures? Yes, there were, but
Yeah.
just to take everything positive out
Sure.
of that.
Yeah.
It's just been such a blessing.
It's great, man.
To sit there. Second name is my
Yeah.
best friend. His
Sure.
name is Sam Simalenga.
Cool, man.
This dude got married a month before me.
Yeah.
But every time I hit one of those spaces, I'm there in that space. I'm like,
Sure.
dude, how do you navigate this thing?
Yeah.
And one of the things is just the beauty of just being realistic.
Yeah.
In this journey of
Sure.
us being husbands,
Mm.
and where he's able to just open up that room where you can just you can be a failure
Sure.
and walk out a hero or walk out stronger, but still it's a room that allows you to just be able to
Yeah,
you know
man.
to pour it all out.
Sure.
So and holding me accountable as well.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
been
yeah.
that dude. It's like, yeah, you're messing up here, dude. So, so it's been those two names literally stick out like not a sore thumb, but a great thumb.
Sure. It's great,
Beautiful
bro.
one.
No, it's pretty dope, man. Thanks for sharing those stories.
Awesome.
Definitely put those names in there. And hopefully, that will definitely encourage guys.
Yeah.
And we see where that will go. Speaking of your dad,
Sure.
yeah, man. What kind of relationship do you guys have?
Ooh.
How did he speak into your life as a husband? Right, because I'm like, you guys are similar in many ways.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Obviously, father son, both ministers,
Yeah.
husbands.
Yeah.
How many kids did he have?
He's got 4 kids.
4 kids.
Yeah.
Okay.
So there's 4 of us.
Yeah, and so how did that dynamic work, man? Especially around being a husband. Yeah.
Yeah. I think one of the things that really stands out was always how this guy did his best.
Sure.
In how he knew what best was. So quite a bit of a detour in the story. When I was growing up in a space where my dad was so busy with church, very little busy with us.
Sure.
So I didn't want to become a pastor. I didn't want to become nothing of that. In fact, I wanted to get a job outside the country, fly away and stay away. I tell you, it's a bit of a funny one.
God is funny.
Look at me now. So it was not an interesting thing.
Yeah.
And post it, I think God really helped me through that journey
Sure.
and made me realize that when you journey through husbanding and fathering and all of that, you can only do the best of what, for lack of a better word, was never done for you. So I looked at this guy and I'm like, you know what? This guy's greatest asset of husbandry and presence and all of those things is provision.
Sure.
So when I looked at his history, I looked at my granddad and I'm realizing this guy never provided much. So there was a construct that was formed in his growing that provision is the thing I cannot fail on. So let me take them to the best schools, but I will not attend their school functions because I'm busy.
Sure.
Let me take them to the best swimming classes or whatever, but I will not attend their swimming races or anything like that because I'm busy. And it took a whole lot of a journey to heal from that. But I realized some of the things that hinder our healing is the lack of understanding or the lack of the right perspective, So when I sat there, I looked at that guy and I was like 19, 20, I was just like, nah, man. And I remember, here's a quick story. So he called me up. I started working quite early in my life. As soon as I left matric, I started working, got into a job, and I was stable and I was fine. And that was the whole intention, that my dependence does not, lie on my parents. And literally that's what happened. And he gives me a call one afternoon. He says, I hear you're looking for a car. I'm like, yeah, but not really. I'm okay with what I'm driving. And he says, why are you not buying the car you want now? I said, no, man. It's actually an old Mercedes-Benz. I still have that car. It's like, no, but I'm like, no, I can't afford it. But I'm not in a rush. I'm happy with my car. So he says, no, I'm going to send you money to deposit the car. So there's a sentimental attachment to that car and myself. When I looked at that thing, I realized at some point my dad woke up to realize that this guy is out of the house. I'm the last born, by the way. So
I was actually going to ask that.
So he says, this guy's gone out of the house. I can't create a relationship with him that I would love to create. So let me transact it. And he transacted it. I don't think he was even aware he's transacting it. You know? But I realized that he's not even doing it from a bad place. He's not doing it from he's doing it from a place where he's like, this is how I know. And it taught me to appreciate how people know. They don't know everything. But that bit that they know is significant. And it influenced me now to come to a space where, as a husband, I don't shoot myself down a lot or pull myself down a lot for my failures. Will they be painful? Yes, some of them will be painful. But I wake up to realize this is how I know. And number two, it also helped me to journey with my wife in the form of me being the husband she desires, the husband she needs in her life. So where I'm missing the plot, guess who the best person to tell me is? The person I'm husbanding. So instead of leaving the room, let me have a conversation, a very vulnerable conversation with the person who's tasting the pudding. Because the proof is in the taste. So how am I doing? So it really shaped my my perspective.
Sure.
It was negative in its influence or in its initial influence, but it became so positive later in the journey.
When did you become aware of those dynamics? And I say this because, a lot of us struggle because of that lack of understanding to see what are some of the things that have influenced our parents and the decisions that influenced them to move the way they moved. We struggle to see that. And then there's all this tension because we wanting our parents to obviously parent us in ways and that benefit our needs, and so one, we get stuck there because we're like, man, I need coffee. This guy's not giving me coffee, keeps giving me water, right? But you don't realize that water was deprived in his upbringing, and so he thinks this is the most important thing, like you said with your dad and the provision, and only when you actually come across the table and realize that, I think does it make the relationship better. I mean, I have my own story, which we'll get into, about just the dynamic I have with my dad. But when did you realize that? How did you even realize that, man?
Look, this thing might have hit me up at about 21. 22. And I remember at that time I was carving my way out of the country to a certain extent. So that was my whole career plan was coming together. It was coming together. And God said to me, look, dude, what you need to become, you can't become until you forgive this guy. So there is a level of function that you cannot achieve, no matter how much effort you put, until you forgive this guy.
You can end this thing here, bro.
It was heavy.
That's heavy, man.
Bro, it was heavy. It was heavy,
bro.
heavy. He says, no, I've got so much I want to do with you. But you need to let go of that. And I couldn't let go of what I did not understand to a certain extent. I felt I couldn't let go because the reasons were valid. I have stories upon stories of how you didn't show up while I was performing so well or doing so well in school and whatever, and you were just not there, bro. So what's happening? And when that hit me so strongly, I realized I'm literally good example. I'm literally capping my potential because I just can't let go of who this person is or what they did. Number two, it's also just the understanding of it was not ill thought. It was not an intentional position. So that's when I went back to the school fees he paid and referred to a word in scientific terms called inertia, where the object takes an original position. There's a position that the object will originally just take if it's not being moved by something else. So I realized I can only remodel what I saw. Is it possible that he's only remodeling what he never saw or what he saw? So the spectrum of his curriculum of fathering or husbanding is based on what was in his life or what was absent in his life. And the Lord said to me, you got to do better. Yes, you got to do better, but don't be better in one area. Also learn from the fact that you can't just be better in one area. So what's the biggest thing in my life currently? Presence and time for my kids. And I'm realizing it's been molded by where I come from. And maybe my son will do better. His son will do better. And all of that. And the last thing that really hit me in that moment was also to realize, and I joke around this. My wife says to me the other day, she was actually not happy about this. So she says to me, I realize you tell me you love me, on a weekly basis. I love the fact that you do. I said, no, my phone actually reminds me. And she's like,
my man.
You know what I'm saying? It went out the window. It's just like, no. So you don't love me enough to actually tell me about yourself?
To remember.
I remember you love me. So I'm like, no, babe, that's not it. That's not it. I literally had to sit her down and I said to her, I'm consciously putting measures into place to move me out of a thing I've never seen. So as much as I applaud my dad, but I've never seen him wake up in the morning and just tell my mom, I love you, babe. I've never seen him wake up in the morning and just kiss my mom good morning. And it's cultural influence, societal influence, all of that stuff comes into the mix. And I said, look, my intention is to become better even at just expressing my love for you. So I've put measures. The stopwatch is going to ring. And remind me, send text to wife. Oh, babe, I love you.
Yes.
Already when I think 5-6 weeks or so into it, it now became habitual. And I said to her, I want you to be privy to my battles of
Mm.
husbanding you right. I don't know if there's such a word as husbanding, but
yeah.
anyway,
It is. Husbandry has to do with animals. Husbanding is a word for husbands.
Guys, it's by mistake, but I made it. So it's that thing, and I said to her, I'm giving you access to shape me and to mold me and to build me into what is the right kind of well for your life, the right kind of water for your spring.
Sure.
Let me be that person, and I'm yielding myself to you. And I think one of the things, Black, that is difficult for us is to think we know how to.
Bro, easy.
Yeah, we just think.
Easy. As men, especially.
It's a construct. And I always give a joke. I say, we think we know it all because if we walk into a room and women are cooking and they're just cooking, in 2 minutes, they're going to ask our opinion.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think of this beetroot? I just walked into the room just because of our leadership position that they see in us. And I think sometimes it's very important. The Bible says that, and this is so strong, in Genesis chapter 2, verse number 25, says they were both naked and unashamed.
Yeah.
It doesn't even say that their clothes were taken away from them. No. They were both naked. It speaks of voluntarism. It speaks of vulnerability. It speaks of transparency.
Sure.
Now, how in the world are you supposed to become a better husband if you cannot be vulnerable with the one you're husbanding?
Sure. Yeah.
Sure. It doesn't make sense. So I mean, the long and short of it is just that journey at about 22 hit me hard. And I had to just say, okay, cool.
Sheesh, man.
I see what you did. I see how well you did. Let me applaud you for how well you did.
Yeah.
Did you do everything?
No. Sure.
But did you do something? Yes.
Sure.
And I'm applauding you for that. It's
great.
Thank you for doing that.
Did you guys have the conversation together? Is it an ongoing thing or?
It's an ongoing thing.
Yeah.
It's an ongoing, to be quite honest. It's an ongoing thing. I don't think we've had, don't tell him I said this. Yeah. I just don't think we're ready. Yeah. We're both ready to have that kind of I think I'm ready, but I don't think he can take it. There are spectrums of vulnerability and conversations that you can feel offended about because you're not ready. And one of the things I loathe a lot about, I'm 36 now, and I always knock on his door. I'm like, no, I'm not no longer a kid, right? I've got a whole family that I'm taking care of.
I look at you in the eyes. I don't look up at you anymore.
He might slightly look up a bit now.
Oh, Lord.
So I realized one of the things that's so critical about our parents in general is just them getting out of that cocoon.
Yeah, man.
Of thinking these are my babies. And this is where you leverage now onto conversations of contributive nature to say, no, but don't do this like this, Dad. Do it like that.
Sure.
No, don't forget I'm your dad.
Yes.
I didn't forget that. I'm just trying to contribute to what you need to do. So I think we're gonna, it's an ongoing thing.
Sure.
Honestly speaking, it's an ongoing thing. But I've told myself that I will glean whatever I can.
Yeah.
From him, whatever he even allows me to.
Sure.
Other things maybe I'll just fight for until I can get them. But whatever I can get out of him, I will really, really get, so that I can become a better husband, a better husband, bro.
Yeah. Bro, that's great, man. And I think there's a lot obviously to get into there.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping that as this conversation continues, we could kind of circle back to that.
Sure.
But you've been married for 10 years.
10 years now.
10 years, bro. That's dope, man. Shout outs to
you
you guys.
Thank you.
And it hasn't obviously been just sunshine and roses.
I think the roses are a bit burnt right now, but they're still there. It's not been. It's not been.
How did you guys meet?
Funny stories, we never met.
Okay.
We never had for real.
Is this married at first sight? Yeah. You were at the altar and they just said turn around and you were like, the first woman who's walking.
That's it. No. Our fathers were family friends.
Okay.
For a while.
Yeah.
Ministry buddies and all that stuff for a long while.
Right.
So I remember at my 21st birthday party, my wife was singing there.
Sure.
because of this family thing.
She was Mrs. Pat.
Yeah. So she was sitting there. And I'm sitting there. I'm just like, Lord, if I can just have a wife like this. Literally, in the heart of my heart, that's what I said. And that was 2000, I don't know, 2007 or 6, I don't remember, something like that.
Yeah.
I was just like, this is the person. I didn't naturally name her. I just said if I can just have
somebody
posture,
like her.
you know.
Yeah.
I didn't even know much about it. We went to the same high school, by the way, and we were friends, but we were never dating. We were never. It was never a thing. It was never in the purview of our minds.
Yeah.
And I mean, 21 was like 4 years later after high school, and I'm saying, oh, if I could just, you know, and then somewhere along the lines, I was stung, and I was just like, okay.
Was she singing again when the stinging happened?
No, she wasn't.
Yeah.
She was, we were just chatting, man. And we were good friends.
Yeah.
And I just woke up one morning and realized, I think I've fallen.
Yeah.
I think I've fallen. And I took a couple of days just to really decipher this thing. And I was like, okay, I have really fallen, guys. Sure. I'm gone.
Yeah.
And then just said 11th of November 2011, I just said to her, look, dude, I think let's do this thing. Let's start this journey together. I would love for you to be my safe space, and I would love for you to be I'd love for me to be your safe space.
Great, man.
And 2014 August we got married.
August, sure.
Yeah,
it's great, bro. We got married in March 2014.
Way. Yeah. Okay, so I'm speaking to the elders now.
Yeah. Nah, by months. By months, if it counts for anything. We're just five months older than you guys.
So it's 10-10 sitting in the room.
10-10, yeah.
Congratulations, guys.
Thanks, bro.
So
Thanks,
it's been a journey. And I think one of the things that's been so beautiful about it is just journeying together.
Sure.
Yeah, I think we will delve into that in a bit as well.
Definitely, bro. Yeah. We have a similar story. Well, there's parallels. My wife sings as well. Your wife sings.
Yeah.
We're friends as well. Good 5 years. Thought of dating was disgusting. You know, people are like, yeah, you guys are cool friends. You could make a good couple. We're like,
we don't want to mess up the friendship.
Right? And then we got stung as well, man.
Yeah. Sure.
Literally. She was on stage at a festival performing. So I would normally drive her. And then, so I'm watching, she's performing, you know, my friend is there, things are fine. She gets off stage, there's hay everywhere.
Sure.
And so she has allergies, you know, and she starts coughing, she's sneezing, and she's just like, I feel terrible, you know. It's my friend.
Sure.
I normally just hold her, comfort her. But this time around, I was like, this is weird. Like, what? So I gave her a Holy Spirit hug, man, you know.
I love it.
Like just how these mics are.
You know,
this was my arm extended. Just holy, and so she's also standing there like, what is going on? Yeah. Bro, I could not drive.
Shoo.
Yeah. And I'm the driver. I need to drive us back home. I just could not drive. And I never let anybody drive because I have insecurity issues. Right? I'm like, if somebody's gonna kill us, I'm killing us. Right? I'm driving. Nobody drives. And that night, I was just like, you have to drive, man. Yeah.
Sure.
So she was also like, this is weird.
It's weird.
And literally just felt like scales came off. You know, like she was my friend in the morning. In the evening, I was like,
with you too.
You're my wife. What?
How do you make it?
Yeah. Wow. So shout out to the Lord, man. 10 years later. It's been
beautiful.
It's been great. It's been great, man.
At least I don't know. I don't think I'm weird. So
sure. That's why I didn't give you looks.
I'm consoled.
It's welcome, and we needed this conversation. Right? So but it's been great, man. It's been super dope. I wanted to chat to you about conflict management. Bro, I've read stuff on conflict resolution, how we should fight, fighting styles, etc., etc. But you gave a talk to couples at your church.
Yeah.
Shout outs, man.
Awesome.
That thing was clean. That thing was clean. You know, it's like you listen to something and then you're like, yeah, sure. I think you got to the depth of this thing. Oh no, it opens. There's more. Okay. Right? And I'm like, surely we're at the bottom. Oh, there's more. Right? So I was like, If there was ever a masterclass on conflict resolution,
Ooh, no, Black. No.
For real?
No,
for
bro.
real, you know why?
Sure.
Practical.
Yeah.
Super practical.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I walked away from that with notes, and I'm like, okay, cool. Let's chat, right? do that, sure, right? And I think a lot of guys
Yeah.
struggle in marriage. So similar to what you spoke about earlier on, right? Because we don't put in the reminders. We don't put the stopwatch, right? We don't put the alarm clock.
Yeah.
Because we think, well, we'll spontaneously make this thing happen. And I think we carry that thinking into all aspects of our marriage, you know?
Sure.
I'm like, conflict resolution is a big thing. You might end up divorcing if you don't know how to navigate that.
True.
And it's just not going to happen spontaneously,
True.
right? You might not have had parents who you saw fight, because most parents,
that's it.
if marriage was at least somewhat healthy, they fought behind closed doors, right? Easy. And so you don't know how to fight.
That's true.
You only know how to fight from what you saw in the movies or what you and your boys talk about, you know. And so sometimes, yes, you might have a healthy group of friends, and you guys are like, man, let's put our heads together, let's pray together, let's see how we can help you. But part of that is knowing your wife. Yeah. Right. So I can get advice from my friends, but I need to know who my wife is, and that means I'm turned on, I'm engaged. Yes. I am thinking through how this thing can happen, you know. Yeah. So I think your talk, man, just gave a lot of just, I call monkey bars, right? So it was like, I can swing from one bar to another and actually get to the end of this and walk away feeling empowered, you know, feeling encouraged. And so I was just like, man, we need to unpack the stuff.
So this guy calls me, he doesn't tell me all these things. He just tells me all this. No, but it's all good. It's all good.
Listen, I normally I don't send questions. I just want this thing to be spontaneous.
So my wife asked me, she's like, so what are you guys going to talk about? I said, no, that's Black. He just said, we're just going to have a chat. So
let's just chat, bro.
Let's just chat.
Yeah. The spirit will guide this thing. So there's a couple of things that came out of it, man. First and foremost, like how has it been for you? There's a scenario you painted, you know, with you going to work.
Yeah.
Your wife asking you to do something, you didn't do it, went to work, came back, she was about to blow up, you diffused that thing, you know. So how has conflict resolution worked out in your marriage for the past 10 years? You know, what are some nuggets then? And then I think let's get into the things you brought in.
You know, one of the things that's so interesting about that talk was we infused it right after that. We're like, okay, we're going to infuse it into our premarital counseling. Dope. We need this thing sitting there. Dope. Yeah. And it's one of my favorite parts of it, you know. Yeah. But I think one of the things that really has gotten us where we are at right now is the acceptance that conflict will happen. Sure. Not might, not maybe. It will. Yep. It's guaranteed. And you can come here and tell me whatever you want to tell me. It will happen. Sure. And I thought, you know, in that scenario, that particular day when I didn't get what my wife wanted, I thought to myself, you know what? I have forgotten, number one. Number two, I was instructed. She did tell me she wanted this thing. I'm at fault. And that's the first thing that for me works as a power of diffusing any level of conflict becoming even much greater than what it's supposed to be, is as it has happened, how did I contribute to it? Sure. That's for me, that just cuts the case. You know, so if I get into that room with my bag of contribution and say, here it is. Yeah. I'm laying it on the floor. I'm so sorry. I forgot what you wanted me to do. It just takes what could be a Hiroshima type of an explosion and make it a non-entity, you know. And I think the second tier of it is not even just the taking of responsibility. It's also after taking responsibility, be accountable to your spouse. Because this is the person that sees you naked every day. This is the person that has seen your worst side, your great side, all of those things. This is the person that can stand up in front of the church and say, what you're saying is exactly not true. There's this part and there's that part.
Bro.
You know, so just take that accountability and make sure that I'm accountable to you, because I can't be accountable to anyone else. I can't be accountable to my boys and not to you. I can't be accountable to my church and not to you. I have to be accountable to you. And I think for me, those two things have really stood out for us. Whenever conflict arises, let's identify it. Sure. Let's wake up and realize, okay, we're in conflict right now. we need to deal with this thing.
Yeah, sure.
And if I was to slightly delve into it as well, it's always been the thing of just really not dealing with the person. That's that thing for me has just been liberating.
Power,
like,
man. Yeah.
There's the conflict,
Sure.
and there's the person. The person is not the conflict. and the conflict must be dealt with.
Yeah.
So if we both identify the conflict, we find ourselves in a position where these two attackers are taking one thing.
One thing, man.
It's quicker to dissolve it.
Yeah.
It's quicker to deal with it and quicker to get over it. And last but not least, I think when I've seen this principle work so well, that when I come in with accountability and responsibility and take responsibility for my contribution and all of that stuff, even without her knowing or without her voluntarily doing it, she will automatically start reflecting on herself.
Sure.
And 20 times, if out of 21 times, she will say to me, no, you're not the only one that's wrong. I'm also wrong because I did. Now, the whole conversation steers out of a battle,
bro. Yeah.
and goes into resolving. So every single person in that room begins to take an introspective perspective. So without telling you to look at yourself, because that's what most people do in conflict. Look at you, you did. No. Without telling you to look at yourself, I mirror what you should do by what I do.
Yeah.
So
great, bro.
Paul says, follow me as I follow Christ.
Especially as a leader, yeah.
Yeah, especially as a leader, So I sit there as a husband and I'm like, no, but this thing can go 20,000 ways. I'll share a story with you just now.
Yeah.
In fact, let me do it now because it's a big one.
Sure.
My wife is probably going to watch this. So we had a conflict the other day. And I don't remember if I shared this in the talk, but anyways, we had a conflict the other day. And one of my wife's relatives told me something that when he told me, so my wife was not there. So I come back home in the evening. I'm like, babe, guess what? They told me. No, that's what they told me. Now, this is what my wife says. My wife says to me that, no, it's like 11 p.m. at night. We are just about to sleep. I said, no. Like, how could he tell you that? I told him this thing is meant for family members.
Yeah.
Okay, number one. So I'm sitting there. I'm like,
Oh, there's an exclusive club here. Okay.
I thought I was in the WhatsApp group. I made it, but I'm not there. And those are thoughts. Second thing she says to me, I'm going to call him right now and ask him. So she goes out of the room.
Yeah.
She calls him.
Sure.
And he says, no, I did not tell him. So she comes back. She says, he says he did not tell you. Where did you get this thing?
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, so I'm a liar.
Yeah.
I'm not part of the family. Now I'm a liar. And
you're basically a snake so far. You're a snake so far. Let's summarize it.
I'm in the garden, right? There's a serpent.
You're a snake, bro. Oh, Lord.
And the third thing she says, this thing is not meant to be known by people.
Sure.
I'm like, whoa.
Yeah. So you're not family. You're a liar.
Yeah.
And you're not people. People are not supposed to know it.
Saying? And I'm just like, whoa, bro. And this thing is happening in my mind. And I'm like, there is 20,000 ways I can take this thing.
Yeah.
Like at 10 past 11 at night, I can take this thing to 20,000 directions. And immediately the Holy Spirit says to me, part of how to handle conflict is to handle the conflict.
Sure.
So he says, what do you mean? He says, you see a pressure cooker. It's called a pressure cooker.
Sure.
Because it can handle the pressure.
Yeah.
Says if you tackle this thing in all these 25,000 directions you want to tackle, what will you achieve? What will be the profit? Let's talk about it for a second. So all these things happen very quickly. I'm like, okay, I'm going to fight with this person. I'm going to fight with my wife. I'm going to fight with the family. There will be no peace. I'm seeing the guy the next day, but we've got a meeting the next day. I'm thinking, tomorrow I'm not going to see this guy. Says, look at how many directions this thing can go. But I want to tell you that you must be the pressure cooker.
Sure.
And cook this thing for a second before you take it on. So what were my next words? My next words was, okay, babe, I get this thing is going out of hand. It's okay. You know what? You guys can handle this issue. You will call me when you need me into this issue. I'm okay. She's like, are you sure? I said, I'm fine. And I was genuinely fine, Black. Like I was genuinely okay. I was not angry. I was not fuming, nothing. I was genuinely okay because I knew what I was diffusing was bigger than the liar, the snake, the what. No, it was bigger than that. It was so much bigger than that. So every time we find ourselves into conflict, let's gauge what will we lose.
Sure.
versus what we're going to gain.
Take it to its logical conclusion. Think about it logically. Yeah.
Just honestly think about it and just think, is it really, really worth it?
Sure.
You know, is it really worth it for me to tackle this thing in all these 5 directions?
Yeah.
Because if I do, it's going to rattle cages it was not even supposed to rattle. You know? And literally for 2 years, I asked nothing of that thing.
Wow.
And it was not because of anger. No, I was just chilled.
Yeah.
Just like, cool, no
Yeah.
worries. Met the guy the next day. We had coffee. We laughed.
Good.
It's like nothing happened.
Yeah.
And then 2 years later, they come to me and said, we need you to get involved in this. Okay, tell me what you need from me. This is what we need from you. I said, okay, cool. And my wife, the first thing she says to me, I didn't think you were serious. I said, well, about what? She says, 2 years. You never asked me nothing.
Yeah.
I said, no, I was chilled.
Sure.
I was happy for you guys to let me in when you can. But for now, it doesn't break or add anything.
Yeah.
So there's no need for us to tackle it.
Man, just seeing the value in your relationship, the value in your marriage.
Yeah.
More than the conflict itself. Because I think once the weight changes in values. So if now I value the conflict, I think pulling back, I'll have to introspect.
Yeah.
Maybe I feel insecure.
Yeah.
You know, that's what the conflict is bringing up. Maybe I don't feel seen, heard, whatever deficiency, right?
Yeah.
And therefore, I'm going to try and shield, protect myself, press in harder into the conflict when I'm supposed to pull back.
Sure.
Bro, there's in your talk, you speak about overlooking wrongs, you know? So I'm like, because that's what it sounds like, right? So somebody might have wronged you there.
Yes.
Whether it's the dude who told you or your wife by Stormia, but you overlooked that.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of spouses, right, don't overlook wrongs because they pile up. Yeah. So by the time I'm here fighting about, or rather, we haven't even started the fight. The fight is me coming home and I'm telling my wife exactly the scenario you gave. And then she reacts the way she reacts. Then I go to all the other 500 times she walked out of the room. Yeah. Right? Then I'm like, there's that thing again. Yeah. You know? The 499 times I let it go. But not now.
Not today.
Not today. Not at 11 o'clock. Right?
I'm up to here.
Yeah. Done. There's no 501 after this, right?
Sure.
So how does one, particularly with husbands, how does one get to the point of being okay with overlooking wrongs?
Oof.
You know?
Sure, man. I think we do this every anniversary.
Yeah.
We sit around what we call a board meeting with my wife.
Sure.
And we treat each other like this company. So how's the company doing?
Yeah.
So how's the CEO doing? How's the CFO doing? And all of that stuff. So I'll literally ask her, how's your husband treating you? Like a friend who's external.
Sure.
She goes at it. She goes. And then I had my turn and whatever. And we go. When we're done, we assess. So one of the biggest principles that we assess is when you are in the space of business, you don't go for every opportunity.
Sure.
There are certain opportunities that are lucrative, but they will cost you in the long run. So they're going to give you profit for the first 2 years, and for the next 10 years, you're going to be in the ditches.
Sure.
In the ditches, you know, and you're not going to enjoy it and all of that stuff. Then there's certain profit, then there's certain opportunities. For the first 2 years, you will lose almost everything. But for 10 years, you'll be making so much more.
Sure.
And I look at conflict and wrongs in that nature.
Sure.
So where will the profit last long? Will the profit be beneficial for the marriage? Will the profit be beneficial for my ego or the marriage? If it's only my ego, then maybe it's not worth it because I'm the only one benefiting.
Yeah.
I would have destroyed the person I'm building life with. And I always say that, you know, when we work, the Bible says that Genesis chapter 2, verse number 15, and God created the garden and put man into it to tend and to keep it and to work it. I said, God gave us work.
Sure.
Before there was a curse, before there was anything, he gave us work. And I say to the guys when I'm chatting to them, and I say, look at your marriage as the garden, to tend and to keep it.
Keep it, man.
So I say, there are 3 levels of work we must be able to achieve in our journey of life, and especially in the marriage. Number 1, we must be able to work on ourselves in this order. Yeah. We must be able to work on ourselves. Then we must be able to work on each other. Sure. Then we must be able to work for each other.
Sure. It's great, bro.
If we don't do it in that order, usually we want the second one first.
Yeah.
I want to work on you. Black, you make a mistake. You know? And we forget that let me work on myself first. So how does it relate to the question you posed earlier? It relates in the fact that when something is happening, I must be so clear what is feeding my response to that thing. It's going to require me to take a step back at times and be emotionless, because emotions motion you. So you must ask yourself, where is it driving me to?
Taking me?
Yeah. So you need to just step out back just for a second and say, no ways. Let me not attack this thing now, because I need to be sure where I'm coming from. Is it a place of good motive or is it a place of bad motive? If it is a place of bad motive, then I shouldn't come from there.
Sure.
If it's a place of good motive, then I should come also being good. Number two, what is driving my response is not only the motive, but now comes also, what space am I in? What headspace am I in? You know, what's influencing my, the Bible says, be angry, but do not let the sun set on your anger.
Yes.
So it's amazing that the Bible allows us to be angry.
Be angry,
Be angry.
God knows how he made you.
But do not sin,
Yes.
Do not sin in that anger.
Yeah.
And I realize one of the biggest struggles is when anger drives the car.
Yeah.
When anger drives my words, when anger drives everything, anger drives everything. So I must be able to step out of there and see myself reacting and responding to that thing now. And realizing, no, this is not going to work. This is not gonna do much for me. And last but not least is also a position of overlooking the wrong, is also realizing that the wrong is there to destroy the greater good.
Yeah. Bro, that's a book. Just know that, bro.
Just know that. Because if you know what that enemy is targeting, I love a lot of suspense stuff, because I just see them just like, oh, what's going to happen next? Type of a thing. Yeah. But I forgot the name of that movie, man. I think it was called Espionage or something. I think, but it was all about company, intellectual property, and all of that stuff.
Sure.
And when the tail end of it comes, you realize this guy allowed himself to lose so much just to get the main thing that he was looking for. So ask yourself, what is the main thing that the wrong is targeting here? Yeah, you guys are probably not gonna eat dinner together today or have breakfast together or something like that. But that's not the main. That's a byproduct. There's a bigger thing, there's a bigger fish to fry. And I need to protect that bigger fish, which is our peace, which is our joy, which is our relations, both sexually and otherwise, in all aspects. How do I now get myself into that space of saying there's a target that's bigger than what I'm seeing? Let me protect it. And I think, in a long story short, those are the three levels that I think would really help us to overlook the wrong. Because and I think I was saying it on the talk that you need to overlook the wrong because you're also not perfect.
You're not perfect, man.
There's a day you're gonna mess up. There's a day you're gonna miss the mark. And you don't have to treat it like your spouse is the worst person in the world.
Exactly.
Like, how could you do this? No, but you could also do the same thing or worse. And I think that's one of the things that would really help us, to remain together in this. Let me share a practical story, if you would allow me.
No, please, bro.
We've had 3 miscarriages in our journey of marriage in the 10 years.
Sorry, bro.
It's been one of those. Okay, I didn't see that one coming. In our first miscarriage, I remember my wife saying to me that, this thing just happened. Friday, she went to the doctors. They did the evacuation, whatever stuff, and all of those things. And then I said to her, okay, I'll see you when I come back from church. So, what do you mean? I said, no. She said, I'm going to church. I said, okay, whoa, they just. So when they got into doing the evacuation, whatever thing, and all that stuff, they couldn't do it through the normal process. So they had to cut it open, do whatever they needed to do. So I'm like, you just had a C-section, basically. So what you mean you're going to church? I'm going to sing my way through this thing because I can't. I'm like, okay, that's weird. So I saw her doing this thing. Wow. Then the second miscarriage happened. And in the second, the epiphany hit me. One of the things that is so critical in the journey of loss and in the journey of pain and the conflicts that could come in that and all that stuff is also realizing that we need to try our level best to go into this together and come out of this together. Yeah, it's bad. It's hectic. And I had to realize, and I said the statement to my wife, I said to her, in our second miscarriage, I said to her, thank God I didn't hear the heartbeat of that kid Because had I heard the heartbeat of that kid, I would have been so attached and so pained. I'm cool. To her, it sounded like an insensitive statement because it's not my period that stopped, the cycle that stopped.
Yeah.
It's not my,
It's not your
my
body.
womb that, it's not my body that went through all those changes. And just after saying that, I think 2 hours, 3 hours after, I came back to her, I said, babe, geez, I didn't realize what I said. I thought I was giving you comfort that I'm okay.
Yeah.
But because I'm not walking with you in there, I'm walking on my own and navigating my healing out of my own way. I am walking away from you because I'm not walking with you. And I realized that one of the things that is so shocking in scripture is that when God asked Adam, and he said to Adam, did you? He says, no, the wife you gave me. The beautiful thing about that, even after he has blamed Eve, they walked out together from the garden when God closed the garden. They walked out together. We are in it together.
Yep.
So that we can get out of it together.
Together, man.
And that's for me, it cuts across the board. Yeah. As bad as it might be, I want to be with you. And the whole idea is not only to resolve, but it is also to be on the same page as we're resolving. So I understand where your mind is. I understand where my mind is. Yeah, we're probably not going to have sex tonight, or we're probably not going to have sex for the next week. But I understand what we're navigating, and we're navigating through it together.
Yes.
Ultimately, when we finally navigate together, we can actually walk out together.
Come on, bro.
And we can actually enjoy the next phase of our lives together. So I think that speaks volumes.
Yeah, man. Totally, bro. You're feeding us, man. You are feeding us, bro. You're feeding us, man. I was just reminded now as you were chatting. Let me put out the statement so I don't forget it. But part of what you had brought out in the talk that relates to what you're saying is just how you guys have managed to, at least one of the tactics you've used to manage to resolve your conflict is you would name the conflict.
Yes.
But you're not naming it to resolve it at that moment, right? And I say that to say this because for us, it took us a while to realize that my wife wants to talk about the thing now. I'm a processor.
Yeah.
I need to leave, right? So I'm not even going to sit here and name the thing. I can't name it. Let's just say, it's okay. You can say your piece. I'll take it. I have to leave to think about the thing, and then I'll come back.
I live with somebody like that.
Yeah. So you get it, right? Totally. You get it, bro. Hey, sorry to interrupt your viewing. We'll shortly get back to that episode. But if you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. If you haven't hit the notification bell, please do that so that you're always updated on the episodes that we drop here. We want to change the nation. One husband at a time, one marriage at a time, one family at a time. So if you are inspired, encouraged by all the content that we produce on this podcast, stick around because next week, there's another husband who's going to inspire us to do exactly that.
As much as you're the one, I need the scrutiny that I can get from this thing to say, am I doing the right thing? What is the plan ahead, And the funny thing at that time is that financially, so I didn't have anything.
Sure.
And I was like, I'm proposing. Even my parents knew. Where are you going to get the money? And I was like, listen, me, I'm a prayer warrior.
You don't know my God. Because for us, it took us a while to realize that my wife wants to talk about the thing now. I'm a processor.
Yeah.
I need to leave. Right? So I'm not even going to sit here and name the thing. I can't name it. Let's just say, it's okay. You can say your piece. I'll take it. I have to leave to think about the thing, and then I'll come back.
I live with somebody like that.
Yeah. So you get it, right? Totally. You get it, bro. So I need to go think, process, come back. And part of my processing is to help me with all the stuff that you mentioned, right? So it's a gift that's, given by God, or it's just naturally how I'm wired. I'm not very, driven to press into conflicts.
Sure.
Right? Conflict averse. That's what the English is.
Yes.
Right? So that's me. And so I if I'm gonna keep that, I need to process, man. And I'm not like, I don't hate you.
Yeah.
I just need to think.
Yeah.
So that I can maintain my not hating you, right?
Yes.
Because if I don't, I'm probably going to hate you, right?
Yeah.
So, like, I don't hate you.
Sure.
I just need to go away so I can maintain not hating you, you know? And I think that's such a vital thing,
It
that you
is.
guys would
It
know
is.
your wiring, your makeup, and how that informs, you know, just even the beginning stages of your conflict resolution, you know? So besides getting into the depth of how you resolve conflict, but just knowing that, man. So when you said that, I was like, this, again, it's very rare in couples that they will say, okay, this is how we function. We know that the conflict is there. The conflict is the enemy. You're not the enemy. And this is how we address the conflict at the beginning stages before we even get into its depth.
And I think
you
as
know?
you're saying it, hey, it's so important to also realize you want to also take a step back, and for everybody and for all of us as well.
Yeah.
So you also want to take a step back and realize that this person, the ingredient that this person is vital for this marriage.
Yes.
You see, you and my wife are vital. Me and your wife are also vital in a different way. You know, we are the precious. We are there. Like, we need to resolve this thing now.
Yeah.
And then over time, you just have to learn, no. It's vital that you also take a step back, and you don't have to now. And there's nobody waiting to give you an accolade of how quickly you resolve this thing. Like, we want to gather here today to present this great award. The fastest conflict resolving couple in the world is.
That's crazy. That's crazy.
You know, it's crazy sometimes how we just, I want to get it over and done. No, it's not even about that. And let me embrace the beauty you bring into this, into our marriage, into our journey. And let me embrace how you husband so well, how you wife so well, how you do all of these things so well. Let me embrace it and see how, you know, how to get it, how to get the good side of it. And I think we relate with people. No, in fact, I know we relate with people from a value perspective. We don't relate with people from a perfect perspective. Yes. So it's because there's something I value in you that I relate in you, and I carry you through that value. And if we could get to that place, even in conflict, and see our wives, our husbands from that place, like, okay, there's bigger value than just what happened. So let's not go there. Let's do this. So I think it's lovely. Like what you just said is just, I think we will edit on the 6th or 7th point down there.
And I was also reminded when you spoke about your miscarriages and how that led you to a point of oneness.
Yes.
With your wife.
Yeah.
So I've been talking to my wife recently just about oneness.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And I'm relating this to what you said about your dad.
Sure.
So when you know the Lord told you that you know your success will be capped by unforgiveness between you and your dad. Similar revelation between me and my wife. You know, I'm like, if me and you don't work on our oneness and live and move from it, I don't think we'll succeed in anything, man. You know, so I'm like, if our prayer life is not fed by our oneness, if our parenting, our marriage is not fed by our oneness, there's that cap, man. You know, it's like, sure, you guys will do stuff, right? So my wife will do stuff, I'll do stuff. Sure, life will be what it is. But together, man, there is a sense in which, man, we can break through, walls, ceilings. We can achieve things that we wouldn't otherwise have achieved individually, you know. And that thing has been pressing on me, man, lately, just about our oneness and how we actually foster that, forge it, work on it, you know, sit on it and actually recognize that that's where our power is, you know. God feels that. Obviously, He's the source of the power, but He feels that through our oneness. And so when I told my wife, she was like, and she told me later, she was like, what is this oneness thing? One, like we have the same bed. That's one bed. You know, most couples have two cars. We have one.
That's oneness.
Oneness. Right? We talk. Like, I don't know how much one you want us to be, right? But like as the weeks went, man, like, and I think it's just the Lord speaking to us. She realized more and more, oh, smack. I can see all these other areas, you know, and just the nuance and how we carry each other. So even how we speak to each other, I'm like, there is a sense in which we can notice each other because we live together. But seeing each other, right? I'm like, that takes intentionality. That takes a level of saying, I'm not just gonna have a roommate. Right. And I'm not just gonna have a human in this house who's called my wife or my husband. But like, I'm married to you, no
Yeah.
one else.
No one else.
And that takes an intention and a level of wanting
Sure,
to
that's so
see,
beautiful.
see your spouse, and for her, she's kind of seen the stuff, and so then I sit there and I'm like, maybe I wasn't articulating myself clearly. It's just like, no, I got it. It's just I just wanted to see how this thing's gonna play out in our lives,
Yeah.
But it
Sure.
is, man, it is beautiful when you see that. And I mean, in God's
Yeah.
providence for your
Yeah.
life, it came through suffering.
No, it did, yeah.
And you've been building that, and how has that just benefited you guys and where you are now?
Man, I think one of the things that we've really benefited on is realizing how we are able to check on each other in the midst of the conflict, of the issue, of the space. Just as simple of where you at, what's going on through your mind. It's not even, and let me phrase it this way. It's not even, let's solve this now.
Sure.
It's, where are you?
Sure.
What's happening?
Sure.
And it has really helped us to really be so concerned about each other's well-being, not necessarily more concerned about the marital well-being, because we are the marriage.
Yes. Yes.
So if I don't concern myself about you, then it's not, in our third miscarriage, my wife woke up one morning, she's like, unlike the first, she's like, I don't feel like going to church today. I don't want to be in that space.
Sure.
I'm like, dude, I'm the pastor, right? Like, my wife is not there. Like, how's that gonna look? I canceled that all off in my mind.
Yeah.
I said, it's okay, babes.
It's good, bro.
I'll see you when we come back. I'm gonna take the kids. We're going to church. I'll see you when we come back. Where's your wife? No, she's not well today.
Yeah.
But she should be back soon. And I think we often allow conflict or loss, or any point we find ourselves in that's not a pleasure. We often allow it to open up a loophole of exposure of each other. We're exposing each other to every other thing that we shouldn't be exposing each other to.
Sure.
But I'm responsible to come and guard. And here's a very, very hectic thing that I saw when I was reading the same passage of Genesis 2.
Yeah.
How when not Genesis 2, but Genesis 3, when Adam responded to God, how Eve actually followed the same pattern.
Sure. And she blamed the serpent. Yeah.
So how did she know to do that? She saw it from the head.
Yep.
And I said, there are things that I shouldn't fix on my wife. I should fix on me. I should do them on me. If I'm able to do them on me, naturally,
she'll see it.
She'll see it. Respond. Like one of those call and response songs.
Yes.
She will go.
Yes.
And I said, I've been trying so hard to fix what I should not have fixed. It was actually me that I was supposed to fix. I was supposed to get myself in line and do the things that I ought to do.
Sure.
And get that, and this is one of the things that I hold dearly, which is one of the greatest things that I think have helped us as well, is also realizing that, and we've heard the statement where people say marriage requires compromise. Great, wonderful, and wow. And we love it. We applaud it. Yeah. When are you going to compromise? So here's the thing. The standard of God in marriage is not compromise.
Sure.
It's sacrifice.
Yeah.
That's why he says, husbands, love your wives as Christ loved the church, that he died for her. Yeah. He was not killed. He died. He gave
himself
for her. Yeah. So I looked at that, and God says, no. The problem is you see, the thing is with compromise, I compromise. I'll give you my water.
Yeah, sure.
So that I get your coffee.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. When I've gotten your coffee, I'm done. Yeah. Compromise is a lower level of life because it is more interested in a transactional approach.
It's temporary discomfort.
There we go. Yeah. Temporary discomfort for ultimate reward that I want. That is the reward that I want. Once I got it, I'm done. But sacrifice
doesn't expect anything back, man.
Doesn't. Sure. And it's interested in who I'm getting, not what I'm getting.
Yeah.
So Christ said there, and he's like, to my bride, which is the church, I don't expect them to give themselves first. No. Here you go. Here I am. And I say this so strongly. If you get me a piece of scripture in the entire Bible where Jesus Christ stands up and says, in my name, come out, you demon. Or he says, in the name of Jesus, get healed. I've never seen any piece of scripture like that. Bro, I've searched. Somebody needs to help me out there. Please, I'm pleading. Help me.
Lord.
So we then realized this guy's sacrifice had absolutely nothing to do with him.
Yeah. Sure.
It was not for his name to be above every other name.
Sure.
That's a byproduct. His main issue was to die for his bride, which is the church. And if we can get to a place like this thing is a thread that if we get right, in my view, we can navigate even the highest and deepest level of conflict that we can find in our lives. We can get away from the deepest wrong that might have been done in our lives because I'm like, okay, there's a sacrifice that must be made.
Yeah.
And the last thing is sacrifice. You feel it, guys. There's no.
No, you feel it, man. Yeah.
You can't bypass it.
It's in the name.
Yeah, it's in the name. You're gonna feel it, and it's gonna hit you. And I think we have realized as well that there are places I'm gonna be called fully to sacrifice. Yeah. And I feel like this is not exactly what I want to do,
bro.
But here we go. It's for this bride. Yeah. It's for this marriage. It's for us to be able to continue standing.
Sure.
I'm going to do this.
I was at a funeral this past Saturday.
Yeah.
A friend of mine lost his dad.
Sure.
Been to funerals. I've taken funerals, preached at funerals. Yeah. When I got back home, I said to my wife, because she asked me, so how did things go? I'm like, this is the first time in my life, same age as you, 36. Sure. It's the first time in my life. And I've had tons of funerals, even at my my grandparents' family, so a lot of my uncles, aunts passed away when I was quite young. Like, this is the first time I'm conflicted in how I'm going to describe this. Sure. Because that was a beautiful funeral.
Wow.
Like, that was a great funeral.
Wow.
I'm like, dude. Yeah. I'm like, my brain is spazzing because the adjectives I have to describe that funeral and not normally, culturally, the adjectives we use to describe funerals, you know. No, it went well, nothing bad. But I was like, man, that was when, people say, let's celebrate the life that and then the celebration is wonky, And this was a proper celebration, right? That dude lived as a father, as a husband, as a man in community, just like, where you're like, there's people who are called Deputy Jesus, and then we laugh about it. And I'm like, but this guy is Deputy Jesus. Sure.
He's not just called this thing.
Yeah. Like, this guy was, man. And just like, there was no I in that room that was not in tears, man. Like there was no dry eye. And I think all of us were feeling different things.
Sure.
But just the amazing dude he is, and he was, So I say that to say that for me sitting there, all I kept thinking to myself is, I need to be a better husband, man.
Yeah.
I need to be a better father. I need to change how I show up in my house. If I'm gonna blame Eve, if I'm gonna not listen to the Lord, sure, I can go have my pity party, cry out, have guys keep me accountable. But here's this dude, right? 71 when he passed away, and everything people are saying about him.
Oh man,
it's just like, man, this is what we're gonna miss. This is the kind of guy he was. And funerals, you hear one or two people say that, right? And then there's that one aunt who's honest, who's like, yeah, sure, right?
I hear what everybody is saying.
Right? Or the people who are saying good things about the guy, they kind of reserving themselves because they don't want to be rude. So they're trying to find very generic ways of describing how, bro. But I was like, I need, Lord, I need to be a better husband, man. I need to be a better dude, better father. I need to show up differently. And so I'm telling my wife this. But so when I got back home, I had an event I needed to go to.
Yeah.
So I just couldn't sit. And I just need to. And I'm like, what do you mean that you? I'm like, I just need to be a better father, man. Like, And we'll talk. But I just need to change how I wake up.
Sure.
Right? Which again speaks to this conflict resolution stuff.
Yeah.
Just waking up with a mentality that like I don't live with enemies.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And I'm not the most important person in this house. I
love it.
Bro, I need to care for my daughter. I need to care for my wife.
Yeah.
How I speak to them in the morning.
Yeah.
You know, my presence, and I've known this about husbands and fathers, that our presence kind of not even kind of, but changes the climate of our house, right?
It does.
Changes the culture of our house.
It does.
And that's one thing that I've been in that man's presence before, before he died. But that's one thing that just kept on coming out quite a lot, you know, that just his presence, man, his words changed the spiritual climate of that family, changed the culture of that family. And that spilled over into his community, you know. Like people on the streets called him dad. They didn't even, know him intimately, but just how he was with them outside the house, that kind of, leading spilled over, man. And I was like, bro, that's that. Like man.
But the beauty about this, as you reflect on the funeral, for me, that I'm taking away.
Yeah.
Apart from the fact that he sounds like when I die.
Sure.
It sounds like my funeral, that one. But anyways, like that's what I want, Yes. Anybody, you must draw a straight line. But yeah. But the beauty about it is self-discovery.
Yes.
Your wife didn't say to you need to be a better dad.
No.
You need to be a better husband.
Yeah.
You said.
Yeah.
And the power of that.
Yeah.
In any setting, in any space, whether there's conflict or not, especially within the confines of marriage, the power of that can just change the trajectory of how you husband all the way through, of how you father all the way through.
Yeah.
All what flows from you comes from self-actualization, self-realization, understanding, and all of that. It flows from me.
Yeah.
So the beneficiary of this is not enforcing the benefit. They're not pressing the benefit. Like, I need you to come home on time. I need you to come. No.
Yeah.
They are benefiting from my self-discovery of who I want to be. And the last thing as well, or the additional thing on that as well, is the change is it's self-beneficial before it is
felt by others.
Others. Like, this is what I want for me.
Yeah.
Like, this is me. This is
I want to live with a nice guy myself.
I
want to carry an angry guy.
Before anybody else expects a nice guy, I expect a nice guy from you. And when we're doing our company retreat, whatever, marriage retreat conversation, and I asked my officer, so in this 10 years, what's literally funny enough in the 10 years, I said, this 10 years, what's the thing that has really, spoken to you in me being your husband? I was waiting for a bro to say to me, you bought me this ring, you bought me this car, you bought me that. I was waiting, you take our kids to school. I was waiting, come on, bring it on.
Come on.
She doesn't bring
KPIs.
it on. Exactly. She brings no KPIs on.
Jeez.
And she says to me, that thing has stuck with me.
Yeah.
And I'm relating it to the funeral you were in as well. Stuck with me. She says to me that if there's something that has kept me here for all these 10 years plus, has always been the fact that you keep your word. No matter how small or how big it is.
The alarm clocks.
Yeah.
The alarm clocks help you keep your word.
You keep your word.
Sheesh.
And I was like, okay, I was waiting for you to tell me how.
Wow.
You're comfortable, you what?
Wow.
No, she says no.
Wow.
I've seen you even with the kids. I've seen you even with whatever. You tell them you're going to do this, you will keep. I've seen you. And that's what has kept me. I'm like, okay. Maybe we are our husbanding. And I'm not saying I'm there, guys. Please, I'm not there. I'm not there. But maybe we are addressing the wrong things in the way we, you know what I'm doing.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Maybe we're addressing the wrong things.
Yeah.
And we've got so much effort, so much resources put in all the things that are not meaningful. They are not meaningful. They are not meaningful. And I'm trying to think, I don't know how many people stood up there and said, he bought me a car every single time my car crashed. None.
Nah. In fact, when it comes to cars, he was getting up every morning to reverse his kids' cars out of the parking lot.
Okay.
Grown kids.
Okay.
Yeah, bro. The thing that kept coming out.
Sure.
The pastor said, when it's funerals, especially black funerals,
Yeah.
we quick to think about what policy the guy left.
Yeah.
Right? One for ourselves, but
Yeah.
secondly, he might have had debts, so we need to cover.
We
those
need to
debts,
cover those
right?
debts.
The thing that kept on coming up is the inheritance he's left is love, goodness, respect, laughter, joy.
Wow.
Bro, where you think that's stuff that we all talk about. Yeah, I want to bring laughter. No, there it is, bro. The guy's dead. And the room is celebrating. The guy's dead. His kids are respectful. They happy. The guy's gone. Right? And just the tangible joy for that was, bro, where it's like, who cares about what policy, man? Who cares about what money he's left? The guy lived and left his life when he died. That's what he left, right? And I was like, bro, I was like, man, listen.
Okay. This is why I came here.
Bro,
The rest of the stuff is not this.
Bro.
This here is the meat of the flesh.
So
Wow.
we always speak about absent dads and the plight that
Sure.
we facing in our country, in our generation.
Yeah.
Bro, and we've heard that line.
Yeah.
Well, here lies a man, or here's a man who stands here who's not like any other man in the backdrop of the
it's been
country
a
that
line.
we,
Yeah.
When that line was repeated at that funeral, we we're all like, amen and amen. This is the truest time it's ever
Been true.
been true. There's like, if guys, we live in a country where fathers are absent, but here's all of, yes, amen. This is bro.
Wow.
That I was like, that's my funeral as well, man. I'm like,
Oh, there we go.
I
There we
need-
go.
Yeah, I need to, bro, do that hard work in me.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So that I'm showing up differently, man. I'm showing up in ways that will be felt. Right? For
and
especially
you know what,
those I
Black,
love,
eh?
man.
I think we and this is just something that's hitting my heart right now. That
Yeah.
we need to assess ourselves
Yeah,
and ask ourselves this deep question.
sure.
As shallow as it might sound, but this deep question.
Mm.
Who am I actually doing this for?
For man.
It's because we've got, I mean, we create great content.
Mm.
We take great pictures. We do all of that jazz.
Yeah.
And we are in that space.
Yeah.
However, if this thing is not for me first,
Yeah.
if it is not me,
Yeah.
that like genuinely,
Sure.
I'm like, man, when I die, I still want to be alive.
Yes.
If it's not me,
Yes.
if I'm doing it for
Yeah.
the likes,
Yeah.
for the following,
Yep.
for all of that, when my friends see me, he holds a hand and whatever.
Forget it, man.
Man,
Yeah.
we are missing the mark.
Sure.
And I think I know we've got such a whole lot of work to do to do this thing that we husband from the right place.
Come on, man.
We husband from the right position.
Yeah.
We husband from the right space. We like the outcome is so intentional.
Yeah.
That when I'm gone, 80%, 90%, 100% of it
Yes.
was an intentional outcome.
Sure.
It was not my mistake. And I think, we sit in a position where today we hashtag couple goals for people we know nothing about.
Yeah. Yeah.
We know zilch about.
Yeah.
And like, I just want to be like,
Yeah.
can my wife
Sure.
sit back and say, I just want to be that man's wife
Yeah.
again and again
And again and again, bro.
and again. If we can get to that place where we are honest with ourselves.
Yeah.
And most of the guys, many people have turned to alcohol, have turned to diffusers of whatever, self-diffusers, whatever.
Yeah.
Let me just forget what I'm going through and whatever. And we forget that hard work.
Starts with us, man.
Yeah, you're gonna discover things you don't like about you.
Yeah.
And it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay not to like it. And
Yeah.
okay, I need to change this.
Sure.
And you're gonna discover things you want to keep about you. And it's okay. It's also okay.
Yeah.
But it starts with us.
Come on, man.
If it can just start with us, we'll get there.
Yeah. No, definitely, bro.
We will get there.
Speaking of couple goals, what this was by the way, man, like you're a master with words, bro.
Oh wow. Thank you, bro.
Yeah, there's Anyway, I'm gonna be sidetracked, but I just wanted to just say that.
Thanks, bro.
You said in that talk, and I'm paraphrasing, but
Yeah.
why put out your dirty laundry when you can wash it in private? Right? Right. Something to that effect.
Yes.
Speaking of conflict and people ranting on social media, right? And social media includes WhatsApp.
Yeah.
Right?
It does.
I'm fighting with you and you put it on status. What do you have to say about that, man? Why
Sure.
put your dirty laundry out when you can wash it in private?
Man, it's called underwear for a reason.
Yes.
Just put it out there. My mom always loathes this thing when we wear baggy pants. It's like, it's called underwear for a reason. The word under. And I think it's quite a sad space because we often do that because we want validation for our position.
Sure.
From external parties.
Sure.
We often do that because we want affirmation for our position. And I mean, you sit in a position where daily you encounter status in like shubile because the hashtag other husbands ...
Yeah.
I'm thinking,
Yes.
okay.
Yes.
Guys, when you get married, you must be careful. ... I mean, okay. You are being told something is happening.
Sure.
And one of the things that you see God doing very well is when he deals with the issue of Adam and Eve, he calls them.
Yeah.
He doesn't call the whole garden.
Sure.
The lions were there. He doesn't call the whole garden.
Sure.
He calls them.
Sure.
And he speaks to them.
That's great, bro.
And he addresses them individually pertaining to that. We are privileged because we're reading about it. Yes. However, he called them. And this is what the Bible says. Matthew 18:15 says, whenever your brother has sinned against you, you go to him. Okay. Who's going?
Yes.
It's not the one who sinned.
No.
It is the one who has been sinned against.
Victim, yeah.
So what is the Bible teaching us? The Bible is teaching us that the one who sinned might not be aware of their sin.
Sure.
You who is aware of the fact that he has sinned against you, go to him and resolve it with him first. That's where you start. But they're going social media, renting, raving. I don't know if I gave an example on that talk, but it's a lousy example, but a very relevant one.
Yeah.
We got celebrities in our country, and the one you're thinking about is the one I'm talking about. You know, that one is the one I'm talking about. Don't ask me which one. You know which one.
Yeah, you're asking because you're thinking the same thing.
Wow, you go on and you let us into a space that is supposed to be sacred and private.
Yeah.
You sell, sacred things. You make money out of them. And when things go pear-shaped and we are involved, you get angry at us. You're like, stay out of my business. But no, whoa, hold your horses. Who called us into this business? We never came on our own.
Exactly.
And I mean, guys, let me say this bluntly. There are family meetings that should not happen.
Yes.
You are broadcasting what should be handled privately.
Sure.
They are your uncle should not come to the house. No. Guys, let's be honest. You can't call your uncle for that. Or you can't even call your friends for that. And I think we are so skillful.
Yep. Twitter ninjas. Yeah.
We are there. We are there. But we are not relational.
Yeah. Sure.
We relate with everything else outside, but we're not relational. And we often give a narrative, and I'm bad at that. I'll tell you, I'm bad at this thing now. Bad in a good way, by the way. I'm bad. So you'll sit in my room or in my office or whatever, and you're telling me what is it. I'm just like, but the narrative you're sharing is very one-sided.
Yeah.
It's very one-sided. And when you're done, no, he cheated, she cheated. Yeah. It does require timing. It does require all our heads to be in the right space. But one of the questions I'll ask, so what did you do?
What did you do, man? Yeah.
No, I did nothing. Oh, you're just calling it nothing.
Yeah.
That's exactly what you did. You're just calling it nothing. So let's deal with that. No, but he's not in the room. She's not in the room.
Yep.
I'm talking to you.
Yep.
What did you do? Oh, my word. Okay.
Sure.
So you want me to reflect? Yes, I do want you to reflect.
Yeah.
Because this tango did not happen on its own. And I think we are sad. It's sad. We are sad to be in that space, to find ourselves in a space where we are comfortable tweeting what we should speak and what
Yeah.
we should communicate. We're
To the spouse,
comfortable
man.
hashtagging what we should really sit down
Yeah.
and understand. And the last thing that's so contributing into this thing is also the person that you are married to. The person you also married comes from a place, comes from a family.
Yes.
I've had one or two spaces where when I've sat and tried to counsel a couple or anything, they ended up saying, no, look, this thing's not going to work. We're divorcing. My heart is in pain,
Yeah, man. That's
but there's
tough.
nothing I can do. But the Lord then gives me wisdom. He says, now I want you to counsel them through their divorce. I'm like, no, but I'm not advocating for this thing. He says, no, but that does not mean you don't counsel them through it.
Yeah.
So I always state the person you're divorcing is the mother of your kids or the father of your kids. I want you to change the narrative. This is not the person that hurt you. This is the person that is the mother of your kids. So if you put that first, you are able to treat this person not to destroy them because you still need them in their life, in the lives of somebody or some people. You actually, these are important people in your life and all of that stuff. So I think social media is a space. It was supposed to give us connections, but it is doing more than that.
I always say social media never accounted for our hearts.
Dude, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. That just sums it up.
It was like, hey, man, we have a need to connect. Yeah, but we have broken hearts.
Yes.
Right? And I don't put it on them. You want to achieve one thing, you did it. But it's human.
And look, man, I mean, to be quite frank, and I told my wife this, I said, you're not the only one that wants me.
Yeah.
As blunt as that sounds, as hard as that sounds,
sure.
I told her.
Yeah.
I said, look, I'm telling you now, you are not the only one. Do you want to see it?
That's true.
I will tell you now.
Yeah.
You, for lack of a better word or for lack of a better example, you leave me or you die. I'm telling you now, you will see that the amount, and I'm also not the only one.
Yes.
If I go, some other guy is gonna come knocking. Let me help you with your car. Before you know it, you guys are walking down the aisle.
Hey, bro.
So I understand it, but also on the same note, I said to her, as much as that's the case, it's so important for you to also realize that as much as I'm not the only one that wants you, as much as you're not the only one that wants me, we have a role to play to continue investing towards each other.
We should. Because of the others that want us. We should.
We should invest, properly invest.
Yeah.
And I've had quite a number of things happen where people, ladies approach me like, look, we just want to have sex with you and all of that stuff. Yeah. The first person I will tell is my wife. And my wife will laugh. Yeah. It's now what I want you to see is what could potentially have become a big issue.
Yes.
Has become small.
Yes.
It's a small inch.
Sure.
It's a small thing. Like you make jokes and say, so where's that one? And we're laughing about it. But because there's that level of
trust.
Intentional trust, intentional building that has been made. Yeah. I said, you never guess today. And it's almost, in my house, it's almost like, hey, babe. You'll never guess.
I mean, it's one of the things you said in the talk that don't ever assume that your spouse has negative intentions or motives,
100%.
Because again, like they gave themselves to be part of this, to love you, to live with you, to grow with you. So unless it's something my wife has been challenging me about, because she's like, there's a thing, man, that needs to be explored when guys, 5 years down the line suddenly hate their wives.
Yeah.
So not even dislike.
Yeah.
They just hate, And so the question you asked first is, didn't you start off with loving the person? How does it switch like that? So not even like dislike or there's a bit of irritation, but like hate and intentionally do things to bring down the wife, So then in that situation, your statement is like, maybe there was bad intention and motive to begin off with.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It didn't just come from nowhere.
But a majority of people don't get married to divorce.
No,
they don't get married so that they can fight. You know what I mean? So I think it's always just a good practice as well to keep that in the back of your mind, that my wife is not coming, or my husband is not coming to me with bad intention.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Maybe it's a communication issue.
Yeah.
They just use words that are hurtful, but what's behind that? Let me go behind that and explore. What's
very
the
true.
motive
I think that,
there,
and that's an example that I think we gave as well, to say that you watch Destroyed in Seconds.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
You see a 10-story, 20-story, 40-story building,
Yeah.
not requiring 40 detonators or 40 what's this bombs or whatever.
Yes.
Just 4.
Yeah.
They've just been put on the right pillars.
Yep. Thing collapses.
And then thing collapses.
Yeah.
In resolving the conflict and in resolving the challenge, be so cognizant of not destroying the good you've already built.
Yes. Yeah.
You have done a very awesome job for the last 10 years. You've done 20 years, 5 years, whatever. You've done a very awesome job of building what you have built. So that's why you need to separate it from everything else. Because if you don't, it's going to now start negating every other thing that you have done so well.
Sure.
And you start seeing negativity out of what you appreciated. You start seeing negativity out of what you loved. You start seeing so the conflict that is unresolved clouds,
bro,
that journey,
Yeah.
and just tarnishes it. And this is where now you end up not trusting the motive of your spouse.
Yep.
I knew that you would not come and pick me up from work because you are angry at me. No, but
there was traffic.
There was traffic or something, and something
Car broke down.
You know what I'm saying? This is not an intentional move.
Sure.
And how many times have we now built our spectrum of decision making because of how we have taken the negative position in the activities of our spouses?
Yeah.
Totally negative.
Yeah.
We've got no level of trust. We've got no level of hope. We've got no level of belief that this person is actually looking for my best interest.
For my best interest, man.
And man, I think for someone, man, maybe take a step back.
Yep. Rome wasn't built in a day, but it fell in one.
Okay. I'm stealing that one. I'm taking it with me where I'm going. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
So be careful.
A whole
man.
Rome.
Yeah. Yeah.
whole Rome.
Right. Another area maybe we could end here of conflict.
Sure.
Is sex.
Ha! I love it.
Yeah, the dude who was reading the Bible for you, man. Shout out to him.
I'm gonna send him all the kudos.
1 Corinthians 7 is
5.
like, thou shalt not deprive each other of sex. Thou shalt not. And he just was stuck on that.
He was stuck on that. I think he was dealing with something in the room.
Because you guys didn't coordinate that. That was fire, man. That was fire. So I'm like, but that's a major area of conflict.
Oh, it is.
Major area, bro. Man. So uncommunicated expectations. Just performance anxiety. And therefore it leads to just shutting down, especially from us as dudes,
100%.
And then we also take unresolved conflict outside of the bedroom.
Yes.
Bring it in. Right?
Yeah.
So man, that could be a whole episode.
On its own. Yeah.
But any thoughts on that, man?
Man, I think I said it quite bluntly.
Yeah.
I don't remember if it was there or if it was another meeting, but I think it was there. But the same issue.
Sure.
When you take sex and you use it as a weapon of dealing with conflict, you are degrading yourself to a married prostitute.
Sure.
It's as simple as that. So what you then are doing is, because this is something that is given, we give each other. That's why the Bible says, do not deprive. If you go down to 7 verse 3, if not 4, it says to us that whatever affection, the husband must give the affection due to his wife.
Sure.
And the wife must give the affection. Not take,
Yes.
give.
Yes.
So this is a giving activity. It's a giving space. So when you then decide to make it a transactional space, any sex that results from a transaction is prostitution.
Yep.
You're not gonna like me, but that's it.
That's what the Merriam-Webster says.
Yeah, there we go. It's as simple as that.
Sure.
And imagine degrading yourself to a male prostitute or a female prostitute who's married.
Yeah.
If you don't buy me this car, you're not gonna touch this body. If you don't,
same passage says, your body is mine, mine is yours.
It's exactly. For the body of the wife does not belong to her.
Yeah.
It's as simple as that.
The body of the husband belongs to the wife.
Yeah. And we must come to a place where we must not take an alternative because we don't want to do the work. So this is a detour that we take because we don't actually want to do the work. The work is going to take a bit longer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's going to be lasting.
Yes.
It's going to be genuine. It's going to be real. It's going to be solid, you know. And we find ourselves in a position where when we do that, the Bible even says, Paul warns us, he says, so that you might not give room to the devil.
Yeah.
Because of your lack of self-control.
Yeah.
So oftentimes, and this is where I was talking about earlier when somebody says, no, he cheated. I said, okay, when you're done, okay, what did you do?
Yeah.
No, but I just told you he's the one or she's the one.
Yeah.
So, no, I get it.
That's fair. Yeah.
I get it. But what did you do?
Yeah.
No. Then I start really, leaving you, say, engage on just thinking on how you handle that moment right there. Will we have sex only because we feel like it all the time? No. Sometimes it's a sacrifice from the other spouse because I need to give the affection that is due to you.
Sure.
And last but not least, you also find yourself in a position where when I look at you, I must think how to transact with you before I can make love with you. Now, I want you to compute that and dissect that statement on its own. So before I make love to you, make love with you, I must think how to transact with you.
Jeez, bro.
What level have you brought yourself to, or what level have we come to?
Yeah.
That I must think today. I forgot to get the flowers, or I forgot to, and I'm just using small things, right? But I forgot to send her the money, or I forgot to send him the money, or I forgot to cook for him. It's got absolutely nothing to do with that. And if we are there, we are in dangerous territory because there will be someone outside.
Yep. Who
expects who expects no transaction, who expects no nothing.
Yep.
They're just giving themselves to you.
Sure.
And it's a critical space. It's a critical space. Gents, guys, we are also at fault. We can use it as a weapon because you might find that the wife is more sexually active than I am, more sexually desiring than I am. Yeah. And I know if I get you in this corner, you're going to do anything I want. What are we bringing ourselves to? Yeah. What are we taking ourselves to? Sure. And that's not the place. No. And that's why the Bible says Adam, verse number 1 of chapter number 4, and Adam knew Eve, his wife. Yeah. Yeah. Not just the woman. So we see her growing from being a woman to being a wife. We see Adam growing from being a man to being a husband. So here's my parting shot on this matter. Sure. Sometimes we've got people that got married or that married, but they remained a man or a woman. They never transitioned to being a wife or a husband.
We just lost subscribers, bro.
I'm so sorry.
You just lost the subscribers.
For real. So when you have to find yourself in a position of saying, and you have to remind your wife, let me deal with the man because the husband is what we're dealing with. When you find yourself, bro, in a position where you need to remind people who you are in their life, it might symbolize your misfunction in their lives.
Yep, sure.
So if one day you have to stand to your wife and say to her,
I'm
your husband.
I'm the man of this house. You don't need to remind us if you are being.
Man, if you function, what is honorable to you, what is addressed to you will come to you naturally because you are functioning. You are not missing the function. You are functioning. Yeah. So maybe it's high time we don't raise the volume, we raise the functionality. We don't shout through. We just raise our function. Lord, what can I do better?
What can I do better, man?
Bro, what can I do? When you look at me as your husband, what can I do better? And open up that portal, open up that space and say, babe, what do you think I can do better?
Bro.
Just that question alone. And be prepared, right? By the way. It's not going to be nice. Be prepared. And take it and say, oh, okay, cool. I get you. Thank you so much. Let me see what I can do better.
Bro, appreciate you, man.
Man, love you so much. Thank you so much for having me.
The V in your name stands for violence.
Wow.
Stands for violence. You came...
Please.
Violence.
Oh my word.
Jeez. Bro, appreciate you, man.
It was so beautiful. Totally enjoyed it.
This was great, man. It was worth the wait, bro.
I think so too.
It was worth the wait.
I enjoyed it. enjoyed it.
You know, there's a friend of mine who always says at church, you know, people have their thing. Some people say hallelujah, they shout amen.
Yeah.
Her thing is, you feeding us. You are feeding us. That's how I feel today, bro. You are feeding us, bro. We are fed. We are fed,
man.
bro.
Thank you so much.
And so, man,
Thank
this
you.
was definitely worth the wait, man. And I think we haven't had we've spoken about conflict.
Sure.
But that's what I was also saying just when I set this thing up, just the depth in your talk, man, and just how you thought through this thing. And I'm sure there's probably a lot of people out there who've done some work, right?
Yeah.
But I would advise you guys just to find that talk, man, because it was like again, I was like, man, just write a book already. Put this thing.
Whoa, bro,
give it to us, bro.
You didn't just say that. No,
please, bro, please. Hey.
You are like, I make confessions here, guys.
Yeah.
I make confessions as we close it off. You are like the fourth person
Sure.
in a space of 2 days.
Listen to the Lord, man. Stop being a Jonah.
No, genuine.
How many?
Genuine.
Now I'm basically gonna be one of those dodgy Christians. How many chapters are in the book of Jonah?
Oh,
Four people have already told you. Listen to the Lord, Jonah.
Oh my!
Listen to the Lord, Jonah. Stop running away.
No, I hear him.
Yes. I'm the fourth chapter where Jonah is like, this is why I ran away. I ran away because I knew you were merciful. That's me. I'm chapter 4, okay?
Oh my word. If I don't come into this podcast ever again, you will know why.
Nah, you coming back, bro. You're coming back.
Oh,
bro.
man. No, I'm going to do it. I promise.
Cool, man.
I'm going to do it. Thank you so much for having me, guys.
No,
It's
appreciate
such a pleasure.
Appreciate you.
Let's be great husbands.
Yeah.
Let's continue to be just representatives of what the Lord has called us to.
Yeah, bro. And thank your wife for us, please.
Will do.
Thank your wife as much as it's your story, and you kept on reminding us today you are a husband because of her. Primarily because of the Lord, and you are expressing your husband through her in your husbandhood. So thank her. Thank her for the story. Thank the kids, man, for lending us part of their story in you. So thank you to them, man.
Awesome, man.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Cool, bro.
Super.
Guys, thank you so much for watching this. Again, we were fed thoroughly. I hope you enjoyed it. If you haven't subscribed, do subscribe. Hit the notification bell so that you're updated. Every Wednesday at 11:30, we drop an episode. Leave your comment. There's a lot that came out of here. There's a lot of other things we need to double tap on. So please leave your comments. Let's engage. And do go check out the talk. In fact, I'm going to leave a link to that talk, right? And you see the full thing, get the depth of what I was talking about and just how I was blown, right? That was pretty dope, man. So anyway, from us here at That Husband Podcast with me, Black Newborn, we'll see you on the flip side, right? Peace.
And I don't want to get to that part where, you get to 7 years and then after 7 years, you ask yourself, what happened to Bonga?
What happened?
Like, these guys were great. And then the next thing, it looks nice in public, but internally, there's a lot of things that you must build to do that. And that's why people forget. They want to make it look nice for the gram. And they forget that the internal, that's one thing that you need to prioritize.
Yeah. Hey, I'm wondering if you've heard about our new show that we dropped here on the Dream Space called The Dopest Variety Show. If you haven't, well, check out what came out this past Monday.
I got a phone which had 64 megabytes. Wow. Me and my 9 songs were balling in high school. You couldn't touch me.
You were Spotify before Spotify.
Absolutely.
So if I was to give a TED Talk on anything, I think I'll talk about how it doesn't have to end at the tragedy.
The radio and television news anchor announced that he'd be leaving Newsroom 405, along with a picture of him in a suit. That seems like a normal tweet, right?
Playback colors and tenor.
No, you must hear it. You must hear it.
Okay,
Listen.
Okay.
Can you hear that?
Yeah. It's exactly like colors.